members of the Jewish community don't feel supported by Labor. They seem to be, more supportive of Peter Dutton and the strong statements he has made publicly in recent months. Hindsight is a wonderful thing, of course, and this is not directed at you personally, but is there now some regret within Labor that perhaps you should have acted more strongly when these anti-Semitic attacks first started to happen 15 months ago? Should you have taken it more seriously? Should you have had more foresight into just the threat of fear that would run through this community?
Well, I guess I would urge people not to have a look at what Peter Dutton is now saying, but what he has done. So when he was the Home Affairs Minister for 4 years, he was part of a government that argued to weaken hate speech laws in this country. He could have banned the Nazi salute, as we have done. He could have banned doxing, as we have done. We've also, as I mentioned, put $50 million into upgrading security for schools, synagogues and other Jewish buildings. Look at what we have done. Operation Avalite with the Australian Federal Police. At every stage we have given our security and intelligence organisations the powers and the resources they need to combat anti-Semitism. I think, it would be a really good sign if Peter Dutton now made clear that he will also vote to strengthen laws against hate speech in Australia. Those laws are before our Parliament. It would be very good to see that he will be voting for those in a bipartisan way, because this is a time when the Jewish community doesn't need to see people trying to make political profit out of this, but sees our major parties in particular coming together to say all of us find this upswing in anti-Semitism horrifying and completely unacceptable. And Laura, the final thing I'd say is there's not one view in the Jewish community. We've got a lot of, members and supporters who are Jewish, and they know the long history that the Labor Party has in combating anti-Semitism. This is not something that we've started doing in the last 6 months or the last 2 years. This is something that for decades Labor has been 100% clear of. We find anti-Semitism and any kind of bigotry completely unacceptable.
Yeah, you're right. They're not one homogenous group and there are varying views, but I would, if I could put, a blanket statement out there, and that's to say, I think there is a majority of members of the Jewish community that wanted to feel more supported, perhaps wanted stronger words of support, not just actions from the Prime Minister himself. Do you think there's an opportunity for Anthony Albanese to put stronger statements out there and tell the Jewish people that they are supported?
Look, I think the Prime Minister has been very strong on this. Just a few months ago, I was with him at the Jewish Museum, which is in my electorate, and we were announcing an $8 million funding boost to make sure that more people can understand the history of the Holocaust in Australia and understand. The other thing the Jewish Museum does is explain what an incredible contribution, a strong contribution Jews have made to Australian life in so many different fields. But actually helping more people understand what happened during the Holocaust and the impact that has had is a really important part of combating anti-Semitism as well. It continues to shock me how many people don't know the history of the Holocaust. It shocks me that there is, and this isn't just young people, this is, all ages seem to have missed the fact that there was industrial scale murder in Europe of more than 6 million people during the Second World War, and somehow that's been brushed from history. And Colin Tatz, who is an amazing academic who worked very closely with the Holocaust Museum, made a really important point. He said, this didn't come down from outer space with Hitler in the 1930s, that anti-Semitism has existed in our societies for hundreds of years. And so it is so vital that as governments we stand together, the three levels of government across the political spectrum, we say with one voice, this will not be tolerated in Australia. Anti-Semitism will not be tolerated in Australia. We will strengthen our laws, we will resource our police and security agencies to make sure that we stamp this out, and the criminals that are behind it will be caught and they will be prosecuted.
Minister, what you've just said there is incredibly articulate and powerful, and I would say it's been better put by you in just those few minutes this morning than the Prime Minister or any other senior minister this morning. Do you think you get it, perhaps more than some others do?
Oh, Laura, I think we've spoken as one voice as a government, and we've spoken as one voice with the New South Wales government, saying that we will not tolerate this behaviour.
Thanks so much for your time this morning. I really appreciate it. We'll speak again soon.
Thank you, Laura.